Okay, so we're going to make the mitts that go with the hat. And you can see it has the fur and a hole for your thumb. So go ahead and get your craft fur. And just be aware that when you cut this, it's going to make a big mess. So you're going to want to make sure you're near a trash can or have a vacuum close by. But you're going to need a 2-inch strip. And then you're going to take your embroidery, your tapestry needle, because we're going to do an embroidery stitch. And go ahead and get some yarn on your tapestry needle, and then I'll show you how to do the embroidery stitch. Okay, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up from the bottom on the edge of the craft fur. Go ahead and bring your tapestry needle up and leave enough on the other side to sew a knot, and then put your yarn to the side and hold it off to the side, and take your tapestry needle and go in. And then before you go all the way through, you're just going to come back up about 1.5 centimeters, a centimeter and a half. And then you're going to keep holding the yarn off to the side, and you're not going to go into the center of the stitch. You're going to go on the outside of the stitch, back down. And then you're just going to keep taking about 1 centimeter to 1.5 centimeters size stitch. And you're going to do that all the way across. So keep doing the embroidery stitch all the way across until you get to the end, and then come back and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so you should have done an embroidery stitch all the way across to the end, and for the last stitch you're just going to go down into the back and we're going to tie a knot on the other side. And how I do that is I just go through the stitches and then I'm going to tie a knot. And then just keep threading the yarn through, and I'm going to tie another knot over here. And then you can go ahead and cut it. And then you're going to take the other side and do the same thing. It's going to take and weave it through and then tie a knot. And then you can go ahead and cut it. And you have your embroidery stitch. Now you're just going to take your crochet hook, which is the H or 5mm crochet hook, and go into one of your embroidery stitches at the beginning. Take your orange yarn and just hook it and bring it through. And you're going to do a single crochet. And then you're going to tie a knot. And then you're going to bury your work, the loose yarn in as you do your stitches, but you're going to do single crochet. Go ahead and do a chain 1 and then do a single crochet in the same stitch. And then in the next stitch, you're going to do another single crochet, yarn over, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through for a single crochet. And then in the same stitch, you're going to go through both. You're going to have 2 yarn loops on the stitch, and you're going to go through both of them. Yarn over, and you did your single crochet. And then in the next stitch, you're going to do 2 more single crochets. And the next stitch, so each stitch you're going to do 2 single crochets, and you're going to do that all the way across. And when you go all the way across doing single crochet, 2 in each stitch, and in some stitch, if you did a bigger embroidery stitch, you can do 3 stitches, but go ahead and do that all the way across and then come back, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so now what we're going to do, you've already reached the other end, and I have 31 stitches total. You're going to go ahead and take and fold the work over so that you're lined up with the next stitch. You're going to do a slip stitch into that first stitch, yarn over, and pull through both loops. And if your stitches, if you have a couple more or less, it's okay as long as you work the same number of stitches in both of your mitts. Now that you have slip stitched it together, go ahead and chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and that's your first double crochet. And you're going to do 1 double crochet in every stitch around, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2, and then yarn over and go through 2. So go ahead and do a double crochet in each stitch all the way around, and then come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, you should be back to the beginning. We're going to go ahead and do a slip stitch into the first double crochet. Go ahead and go into the top stitch of the first double crochet, yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook, and now you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and that's your first double crochet. And go ahead and do 1 double crochet in every stitch around, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. So go ahead and do 1 more row of 1 double crochet in every stitch and come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so now we're going to do a slip stitch into the top stitch of the first double crochet, yarn over and pull through both loops on the hook, and then we're going to chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do 1 double crochet in every stitch around. Go ahead and yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. And on this row, we're going to do the thumb opening. So you're going to do 1 double crochet in every stitch, and then you're not going to do a slip stitch at the end, and I'll show you how to do the thumb opening. Okay, so you should be back around, and instead of doing a slip stitch, now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to turn your work, and you're going to do a double crochet in every stitch all the way back around. Go ahead and yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2, and then yarn over and go through 2. And then go ahead and do a double crochet in every stitch all the way around back to the beginning. Okay, so you should be back at the beginning. We're going to go ahead and do a slip stitch into the top of the first stitch on that double crochet. Go ahead and yarn over and pull through both loops, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to do a double crochet in every stitch all the way around, and you're going to do that for 2 rows. Go ahead and yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2, and then yarn over and go through 2. So go ahead and do a double crochet in every stitch all the way around, and then do that for 2 rows. Okay, so you should have finished the 2 rows of double crochet. So now we're going to finish off after you did your slip stitch. Go ahead and yarn over and pull through enough yarn to sew into the work. And you have the mitts. So go ahead now, and we're just going to sew in the loose end with the tapestry needle. So just get your tapestry needle. And then just take on the inside of the work, just thread the tapestry needle through to bury the loose yarn end. And then just cut the loose end. And you are all done.